All right, welcome to the July 15th Town Board meeting. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Jeff Brenningham, First Ward.
Jessica Lopez, Third Ward.
Ann Shershin, Sixth Ward.
Michael Safone, Fourth Ward.
No one was absent, so Felicia Salvatore, Town Clerk.
Jim Nelson, attorney for the town.
John Baisley, Town Supervisor. Welcome, everybody. We have a rather short agenda tonight. The first thing on our agenda is a public hearing for 10 Monitor Road and 12 Raker Road. 12 Raker Road is going to be removed due to compliance. Number 2 is authorize an advertisement for SCADA for the Arlington Wastewater Treatment Plant. And number 3, set a date for public hearing for property maintenance for 34 Chestnut Street. 4, authorize the supervisor to sign designation for hearing officer. 5, notification of claim Boris versus the town and Duchess Towing versus the town. Then we have 3 special consent items. 1, authorize the supervisor to sign a non-confidential, non-binding letter of intent for acquisition of land buildings for town purposes. 2, a resolution reduction of Stratford Farms bond. And 3, a resolution to approve a bond from Hudson Heritage. With that, I'd like to make a motion to open public hearing number 1 on 10 Monitor Road.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Is anybody here to discuss 10 Monitor Road? If not, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jeff?
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie, pursuant to a public hearing held on July 15, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, under Chapter 159 of the Town of Poughkeepsie Code, entitled Property Maintenance, does hereby determine that the property located at 10 Monitor Road, Town of Poughkeepsie, County of Dutchess, State of New York, bearing grid number 61590299675, owned by U.S. National Bank Association, is in violation of Town Code Chapter 159, Property Maintenance, 159-5A, and be it further resolved that the legal notice of the public hearing was posted on June 24, 2020, published in Poughkeepsie Journal on June 29, 2020, and mailed to the owner by certified mail, return receipt requested on June 30th, 2020, and be it further resolved that the said determination is based on the materials received at the public hearing from the Town of Poughkeepsie Zone Administrator, and be it further resolved that said owner of 10 Monitor Road has not complied with the order to remedy, and be it further resolved that the town shall, by its highway department or a town contractor, cause removal of all garden waste and fallen tree limbs, and shall cut and continue to cut grass to a height not to exceed 6 inches, and continue maintenance thereafter if the premise continues not to be properly maintained, the cost of which shall be added to the property tax bill pursuant to Town Code 159-13. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Public hearing number 2 is removed due to compliance. That brings us to our regular agenda items. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any item on the agenda.
Second.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Was there anybody like to discuss any item on the agenda?
Jay, this is Doreen. I had my hand raised. I'm not sure if you saw it.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so I have a question about the letter of intent, SC1.
Yep.
Okay, so does this have to do with the consolidation study?
something we'd rather not discuss at this time, Doreen.
Okay. All right. Well, I did notice that it just said to be used for town purpose. It did not say Arlington Fire District, and I know the consolidation study was also supposed to be for Arlington, so, okay, but if you'd rather not say right now. And then the other one was the designation that you're hiring an attorney as a hearing officer. Is this for the same lawsuit that I asked about a month ago, and you said you couldn't say what that was also?
No, Doreen, this is related to an employee.
Okay. All right, is it arbitration or a lawsuit? Can you say?
No, I'd rather not say.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Anybody else like to speak? Make a motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Carlos?
Resolution 2. Be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the town clerk to advertise for bids for a SCADA system for the Arlington wastewater treatment plant pursuant to specifications prepared by the engineering firm, which will be available on July 20th, 2020 at the office of the town clerk, with an optional site visit to be held at 10 a.m. on July 29th, 2020, and a bid opening on August 10th, 2020 at 11 a.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. Be it further resolved that the right to accept or reject all bids in whole or in part is hereby reserved, and be it further resolved that contracting for these services is part of an ongoing administration and management of the Town of Poughkeepsie and the joint landfill, and it is a type 2 action under SECA requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Jim, just a correction, it's not the joint landfill, it's little Arlington wastewater treatment plant.
Pardon me, thank you.
Yeah.
So I'll correct the resolution.
Yeah, that's a computerized system for down there that ties everything together for the wastewater treatment plant. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas, in order to remedy, a copy of which is attached here too, has been issued for property located at 34 Chestnut Street, Town of Poughkeepsie, State of New York, pursuant to Chapter 159A, Mowing of Occupied Properties of the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Code, and whereas said order to remedy has not been complied with, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 5th day of August, 2020 at 7:00 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider the recommendation from the zoning administrator that the town or its contractor remove and, as needed, continue to remove all of the garden waste, fallen tree limbs, cut grass to a height not to exceed 12 inches, and maintain throughout the growing season, all at the above property, so it will not become overgrown, unsightly, all at the above property, the cost of which work shall constitute a lien and charge on the above real property until paid, satisfied, or discharged, and shall be collected in the same manner as other town charges. So moved.
Second. We got a motion and a second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Kenneth M. Bernstein, Esquire, as hearing officer to make a finding of fact and issue a recommendation with respect to a notice of hearing and statement of charges under Section 75 New York State Civil Service Law, and dated June 5th, 2020, and issued to the Town of Poughkeepsie employee ID number 192. Be it further resolved that Mr. Bernstein shall be compensated for his services at the rate of $195 per hour. And be it further resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to execute a designation of hearing officer in connection with the action taken pursuant to this resolution. So moved.
We got a motion and a second.
Second.
Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Except Jim.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard, but Ann can't read the next one if you want to
Okay,
skip her.
no, she told me she might have an issue. Number 5 is a notice of claim referred to legal, Boris versus a town, and Duchess Towan versus a town. Brings us to number 6. Be it resolved, the town board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit: 1, authorize the supervisor to sign confidential, non-binding letter of intent for acquisition of land buildings for town purposes. 2, resolution reduction of Stratford Farms bond. 3, resolution of Hudson Heritage bonding. And be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the town board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Jeff?
Be it resolved that the town board to authorize and direct the supervisor to negotiate and execute a confidential, non-binding letter of intent for the potential acquisition of certain land improvements to be used for town purposes, to wit, a town hall and other town facilities, and be it further resolved that this board finds that because of the purpose of this non-binding LOI is to allow the town to conduct environmental, engineering, economic, finance, and legal and other studies necessary to formulate a potential course of action. Its execution is a type 2 action, 6 NYCRR 617.5 C27, which is environmental review, and be it further resolved that all required environmental and other processes will be followed if a definitive agreement is proposed to be executed by the towns. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
I don't have the special consent paperwork.
I got you, Bill.
Okay.
Be it resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby approve the further reduction from $1,109,335 to $894,682 of the performance bond for Phase 1 and Phase 4 of the Stratford Farm subdivision pursuant to the estimate of the town engineer, a copy of which is annexed. And be it further resolved that this board, consistent with the recommendation of the town engineer, authorizes the supervisor or his designee to accept a performance bond and security agreement and to execute any related documents for the completion of the top course paving, corrective work, landscaping, and stabilization in phases 2 and 3 of the Stratford Farm subdivision, which performance bond and security agreement and any offered surety bond shall be in form of substance acceptable to the town supervisor, town engineer, and attorney to the town. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
Whereas EFG Saber Heritage SC LLC, the owner of 3532 North Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12601, on April 16, 2020, received conditional amended Phase 1 site plan approval for the Town Planning Board for Hudson Heritage Project, and anticipates receiving from the Planning Board on July 16, 2020, an amended conditional preliminary subdivision approval and an amended conditional final subdivision approval for Section 1 of the subdivision. And whereas the town engineer has estimated the required security for the Section 1 Winslow Gate area municipal improvements at $5,333,338 per the estimate attached. And whereas Sabre has tendered to the town a proposed form of performance bond and a proposed form of bonding and security agreement, copies of which are also annexed here therefore, be it resolved that the supervisor or his designee is authorized to accept the tendered performance bond from an acceptable security, to execute bonding and security agreement both in substantially the form annexed, with terms including the ability of the town to draw the sum of the bond on default by Sabre, subject to the approval of the supervisor, development director, special counsel David Cooper, the town engineer, and the town for the attorney for the town. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. That brings us to the end of our agenda. We have a town comptroller on there. Is Charlie on?
He was, oh yeah, he is now.
Is he muted or unmuted? Charlie, are you there?
somebody's on the town account, that's why it's big like that.
Charlie? Hmm.
I don't see his name per se, it just says
No,
town of
it usually
Poughkeepsie.
comes up as town account, yeah. Oh, well. Comptroller gave me a semi-annual financial update for tonight's meeting. Our next committee of the whole will be having RBT, will be coming in, they will discuss the order with us, and at the same time, we'll have a year-end for 2019 to discuss at that meeting. Charlie said we're halfway through the year, and he wanted to keep you updated. His question of where we were doing. We've been revising our monthly position so far, and there haven't been too many surprises, luckily. Our revenue, obviously, we collected our taxes before the pandemic, so we are whole with that. There are other large revenue streams, sales tax, mortgage tax, along with franchise taxes, are all on schedule to meet our budgeted numbers. We're also taking a conservative approach to revenue at budget time, so because of that, we're in decent shape right now. Sales tax, we get a guarantee from the county of $1,945,375. If sales taxes are up, they give us an escalator clause that's a certain percentage of growth, and that's based on our population. And we've received checks every year on that. That may disappear this year, so that's something we have to watch out for. You know, mortgage tax, they've had a couple of large commercial sales this year, so currently, we have $678,500, and we budget $950,000. That leaves us a balance of $272,000. We have 6 months left in the year, so we need to average $45,000 a month. So far, our lowest month this year has been $73,500. Finally, franchise taxes are coming in quarterly. We're in the ballpark. We budget $78,000, and so far we're projecting about $750,000. The other large revenue is the courts, which is an unknown. They've been closed since March, and they're should be about ready to open in August. They've been open, accepting pleas and payments, and we seem to be on board that August 1st they should be open up, and they're going to be having a sort of mail-in way to settle your tickets for a while. So hopefully that'll get a revenue number back up and pick up for some of the stuff that's been sitting around for months. We budget $900,000, and currently we're at $330,000. So we got another almost $600,000 to find by the rest of the year. So hopefully some of these numbers will go back up. Water's running about 43%. With that said, summer months tend to pick up. It's been a dry summer so far. So also we've not received our second quarter from the city yet. That second quarter ended in the end of June, so we should get a payment by the end of July for that. And that should be about $275,000. So far, the water numbers are looking pretty healthy. The sewer department revenue is around 52%, which is where it should be. We've discussed with Franco and Sewer. We've been reviewing the different contracts and found some miscalculations we've adjusted, and we've been going through all the different contracts that are signed, and they don't necessarily work on our fee schedule that we do with a regular residential user. They're also looking at to set different levels of rates for industrial users and commercial high-volume users. So expenses, when COVID started and it went into effect, we put a hold on all our spending. Spending in the A fund is 42.5% so far, and we're in July already. The B fund is 43.2%. Highway is 45.6%. Sewer is 41.5%. Water is at 55.4%. Water is a little high due to the project we took on out in the wells to reactivate the wells. Due to the main factor was Central Hudson. Thinking about dredging again the Hudson River, we didn't have a second water source, so we're reactivating the wells and getting them all up and running and testing them and cleaning them all out and rehydrating the aquifer. So if something does go wrong, we do have a backup source. And he wanted to remind us we made some large purchases last year for highway and police. Will be coming in this year. Some of the money was encumbered, some we planned on borrowing. The interest rates are at an all-time low. We can get a 1 to 2 year note at 1% to 1.5%. Next week, we'll be receiving a new vacuum truck for sewer department. It's a $400,000 vehicle. We had received a $310,000 grant for that. So we're gonna owe $90,000 on that. So for the not-so-good news, the state has reduced our AIM funding. We were told at one point, we're looking at maybe a 20 to 25% reduction, but as of now, we haven't gotten anything. We've submitted $450,000 for CHIPS money, which is for a highway to work on the roads from the state, and we're not sure how much of that we're gonna get. So highways basically put a stop on going any further with any more of the paving. He's got, I think, one or two small projects left, but we put a stop on that, not knowing if the CHIPS funding was in or not. If not, we'll have to use Mark's line item that he had for paving for that. We will feel more of these impacts next year than we will this year, because once all these numbers come in, we're not gonna know where we're going next year and how it's come. We watch the budget extremely tightly. We will not be receiving the bonus checks next year, most likely, due to the downturn in the sales tax. We're guaranteed the 1.9, but anything over that is the escalator, so we don't see that. The state predicts a 7% return on the retirement investment, so retirement may go up next year also, because their fiscal year ends 3/31. So they did not feel the full impact this year. Medical insurance, we're not really sure where it's going. I was assuming that with COVID, that medical would be going up. But on the other hand, a lot of elective surgeries and things weren't being done this year, so there may not be as big of an impact on health insurance yet. We've been watching that closely, and the Comptroller discussed this with our provider the other day, and where we're going. And it's gonna be one of the toughest years we had to deal with budgets, so we told everybody it's bare bones. We're starting our budget process meetings next week, and we're gonna keep our numbers as flat as possible. And as I said, Charlie will be at the next committee of the whole meeting to discuss this further and in depth, and we'll show you the results of last year's, where we stand with our fund balance going forward, so everybody knows where we're going. And that's all I got, and sorry Charlie couldn't get on here.
Jay, a question? I think I misheard you. The county is reducing the share of sales tax to us?
Bill, we're guaranteed 1.9 million due to the contract that the county executive signed years ago. And then there's an escalator factor. If sales tax goes up every year, a portion of that money gets put aside for all the towns and villages in the county. The two cities have their own signed agreements, but whatever that escalator goes up, based on population, we get a bonus check every year. And we were pretty much told that bonus check won't be coming next year due to the downfall in the sales tax. If numbers are down low, they're still guaranteeing us the 1.9, but most likely we won't see that escalator. So we're probably looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars in losses in the sales tax revenue for next year. But one of the only, hopefully, saving graces, the real estate market has gotten extremely hot, so hopefully that'll help, balance some of the numbers out. Our mortgage tax numbers, as Charlie stated, have been very good so far, and they come month to month. They're not falling behind or dragging behind a couple months, so we're not in the pre-COVID months or anything like that. We're right up to June. We got our June report the first week in July, so those numbers looking good. We had a couple big sales, and you get a big commercial sale, sometimes you get in as much as a $60,000 influx for one of those. So hopefully there's a lot of refinancing and things going on that'll keep those numbers up high, and that may alleviate some of the other numbers that we lose on.
Jake, just another question there. Do we ever know what the total amount of sales tax that was collected in the town is? I understand the 1.9 guarantee, but do they give us a report that says total sales tax income in the town of Poughkeepsie was and then a number?
No, all we ever see is through the state is what the county number is.
Okay, so is the county number the full amount of sales tax?
Yeah.
For the whole county?
Yeah. And
not just the town of Poughkeepsie?
Bill, the county is the one that collects all the sales tax, and
right.
The county does not have to give us any of it, but through an agreement, they give the cities their two portions, because by law, the cities can collect their own sales tax. And then there's just been an agreement over the years that the towns get a portion. So it's basically up to the county to divvy it up how they want. It's not necessarily based on how much the town of Poughkeepsie or any other town brings in, which we've always said that, as big of a town we are, we should be getting a bigger number, and we fight for that all the time. The only benefit we get is when when the escalator number comes out, that's based on population. So when you see what other towns get, our number is usually a lot higher than the other towns because of our size.
But we don't know what the amount of money for sales tax is from the town of Poughkeepsie.
No, and I don't know if the state keeps that number or it's based on zip codes or how it is. I've never seen
Okay.
that number.
Okay. Thanks.
Anybody got anything else? Like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any comment on in relation to the town at all?
Second?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Doreen?
Yeah, so Jay, the county for the sales tax that they have to give you, the 1.9 million, that's guaranteed even if the county has financial difficulty?
Yeah, it's more or less in a contract, and they've pretty much told us we will guarantee that this year, but the escalator is probably pretty much gone.
Okay, because I have been reading where the county says, you know, that they may have to have layoffs, and so I was wondering if we still get the town still gets the money.
Yeah, Doreen, not 100% positive. I think there was agreement signed like 7 or 8 years ago that broke down how this was done, and that's where the escalator was formed. So there's probably a resolution somewhere along the line of, you know, how this was broken down when the two cities signed their agreement. I think that's when that agreement was also signed.
Okay, now my other question is about the SC1, the letter of intent. So this is not to expend any money?
No, not at this time.
Okay. And then my only other statement about the SC1s is that, you know, it would be better if they were posted the day before or at least earlier in the day of the meeting so that residents have a chance to read them in case they have questions, because if you don't know what's on the agenda, it's hard to be prepared or to know that if there's something on that you want to attend the meeting for. So it would be better to have them earlier in the day.
All right, we'll keep trying. They were definitely last minute.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? A motion to resume the rules?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A motion to adjourn?
Second?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Everybody have a great night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.